but a dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record.
For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record, a land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the first day of March 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a wonderful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, wet roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, I believe, raining outside. Traffic is backed up. We have the usual fender benders or accidents on the road that will also slow traffic down as well. So whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Adjust your movements, whether in a automobile, in a vehicle, or on a bicycle, or even walking. Adjust your movements to suit the particular conditions that you are facing as well. And always remember that the life you save may be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, month of March. Many people celebrate birthdays in the month of March. If you've lost loved ones over the past few days, past few weeks, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. And we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. If you're infirmed, either at home or at medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Again, this morning, the beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us at 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Just want to do a little bit of housekeeping this morning to let you know today, of course, is nomination day, and this is where people will put their money where their mouth is. Those who are talking about being politically active and wanting to represent you in our parliament, this is the day that they can be nominated between the hours of 8 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. Here on Radio Cayman, we will be carrying, of course, political ads for the various candidates. As you know, on Mondays, we are still scheduled to have government departments on, but we will get a mixture of the government departments being on with commercials that are centered or sponsored by the various candidates as well. And of course, Wednesdays and Fridays, again, we will have the various commercials, and of course, the various candidates can also book their slots to appear on For the Record during that period of time. There will be some changes, possibly also to our call-up program. When we do have candidates on, it will be, because they're paying for the space, it will be their choice as to whether or not they want to entertain calls and when they want to entertain calls as well. So just wanted to point that out to you. You will see a little change in our scheduling, a mixture of political ads, sometimes even along with guests that we may have on the show that have no connections with those political ads whatsoever. So, this morning, we are going to be discussing Social Work Month in the Cayman Islands, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the Director of the Department of Children and Family Services, Ms. Paulinda Mendoza-Williams. Ms. Mendoza-Williams, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I usually say good morning to you around about, minutes to 5 in the morning when you're walking on the bypass.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning to the listening public. Thanks for having the Department of Children and Family Services on For the Record this morning.
Sure. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about Social Month in the Cayman Islands, and let's tell our listening audience when it begins, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the history of Social Month in the Cayman Islands as well.
So today marks the celebration of Social Work Month. So it's the entire month of March, and Social Work Month has been celebrated since 2017 in the Cayman Islands, but it has been established through the National Association of Social Workers in the United States, and then it went global probably about 20 years ago. Okay. This year, the theme is Social Workers Are Essential, and we're keeping the whole essential theme because of the extraordinary year we have had in the Cayman Islands and globally last year with the pandemic of COVID-19. And there we saw that in our profession, we had to change some of the ways we practice and do business and provide services for the community in the Cayman Islands. But not only here, globally, social workers have had to make adjustments to how they interact and work with their clients.
Okay.
So as we enter this month, we are having some celebrations. On Sunday, we will have our church service at Universal Church on Walkers Road, and we invite the public to come out and celebrate with us. We are also going to be engaging in some wellness activity for social work professionals in the department. So those are closed activities, but we are also looking to do some more media presentations. Our teams will be coming on For the Record throughout the month of March, talking about the services that we deliver, achievements that we've made during 2020, and going forward. We're also going to be sharing in terms of why social workers are essential, not only during a pandemic, but throughout our profession and the services we provide in the Cayman Islands. So we continue to look at what the department delivers in terms of its mandate. And historically, back in the day, we did what we call generic social work. And that included having caseloads that dealt with adoption and foster care, youth justice matters, child protection matters. But we have since gone to a more specialized approach here in the Cayman Islands, and we have now established teams. We are now going on 3 years strong with our established teams. We have the MASH team, which is the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, which deals with all child safeguarding matters. And in that hub, we have our social workers, our police officers, health service personnel is also there. And then we have our virtual partners who include education services, needs assessment unit, immigration, Department of Community Rehabilitation. We have our youth justice team, which deals with our adjudicated youth who entered the justice system, but we're working steadily. We've just launched our youth diversion program, and we're looking at, let us not wait until our young people enter the judicial system, but let us put things in place that we're able to deter them from there. Or if they do happen to come in, we have programs that will prevent them from entering the adult system.
Okay. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break now. And then after that commercial break, we will have one of those political ads that I was telling you about. And then we will continue to speak with Miss Paulina Mendoza Williams about Social Month in the Cayman Islands. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Wade Taylor Foster, 1886-1971. Mr. Taylor was born on the Brack, the second child of Wilford and Alma Foster. He was a serious student who excelled in school. He accepted Christ when he was a teenager and became a deacon in Ebenezer Baptist Church at an early age. He married Hilda Scott, with whom he had 6 sons. He was the only Baptist preacher and the only marriage officer on Cayman Brack for many years. Mr. Taylor was a carpenter, boat builder, and businessman, as well as a cattle farmer, who provided the island with beef, especially at Christmas time. He was a government auditor on Cayman Brack for 40 years, for which he was awarded the Cayman Islands Medal of Honor. Turtle fishermen all knew him, as he outfitted their boats, and on their rerun home, he purchased their turtle shell for shipment to England. He provided work and sustenance for many families through his shops and his cattle business, and his generosity helped many Brackers survive during and after World War II.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
As we ride the hamster wheel, scampering along the treadmill of living, we try to reset to this new normal, this new life. Where getting away is staying right here. Where vacation is staycation, staying safe. Where focus is surviving minutes, hours, days of anxiety. Step away and say hello to the latest exhibition of the National Gallery. Say hello to Alchemy by Cayman's premier sculptor, native son Horacio Esteban. Lose yourself in moments of geology meeting history, meeting botany, meeting zoology, meeting art. Where Caymanite and coral and unearthed cedar of thousands of years strike a pose in art. Bring your family. Leave your stress at the doors. Wellness, renewal, mental peppermint, alchemy at the National Gallery, supported by Rotary Central Community Service. Rotary opens opportunities.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all natural, additive free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamp Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Caymankind.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
The following is a paid political announcement by Mr. McKeeva Bush from West Bay West.
My dear people of these islands, in particular my constituents of West Bay West, this is McKeeva Bush, and I'm here to announce to you I'm standing again in my constituency of West Bay West. I thank those people for their kindness over the years and for all of you who gave me 71% of the vote. In 2017, I ask you to do the same this year on April 14th, God willing. I will continue to work for you and to be your friend and confidant as I have been over these past 36 years. My dear friends, as a country and as a people, we must be thankful for the mercies of Almighty God. We have faced and addressed many issues in the past 4 years, but the COVID-19 pandemic that we are living with and living through will be a lasting legacy and one that we as a people must understand, that safeguarding the country against this virus must be our primary priority as a government. No one can accurately project what the state of the economy will be like in December this year. And we pray that our financial services will be given sufficient room to grow, and that as Caymanians, our expectations will not take us to where we have cut off our nose to spite our face. The finance industry is still our primary industry, and it must be supported and protected all around. Of course, tourism is down at this point, virtually none, if any. Tourism for us means people coming here, and so we have to protect our people locally. We must be careful and mindful of the dangers we could face in opening our borders too soon. But given that our vaccine program is moving ahead very well, this will help us tremendously in weakening the COVID-19 virus. And when that is accomplished, it will be easier to open wide our borders. And so I want to ask you to make sure that you are being vaccinated, you and your family. This is the way to be safe and to continue with the safety measures when you are out and about. This is your life and the life of your close and dear family. So, my dear ladies and gentlemen, while we prepare for the next 4 years to address the issues, we must also understand the precarious position the country is currently in. Most of the government finances come from financial services, and as we do not have any other kind of local industry, it all comes from outside. So our finances come from outside, and we must have the kind of safe environment here where the people with money will want to come and spend their money in these islands. So tolerance on our part is the order of the day. My friends, we have done well over the years in assisting our seniors, our seamen, and others in need. In Cayman, we consider that on reaching 60 years, you are considered as a senior citizen. We will continue to honor that, whichever side of the house I am at, whatever my position. Seniors and seamen and people in real need have always been my first consideration, and they will continue ever to be so. But we know too that need knows no boundaries. Poor people will always be with us. And so our program will continue to help those in need. We will put more effort, however, into assisting with a sustainable housing program for rental, for ownership, and for others who will need housing. There will be other people programs that will be launched over time. My dear friends, there are many who would run this country down, who will speak bad of entities here. Not me. I'm reached that age and I'm not 16. I know where we were. I know where we have come from and where we are today. Yes, some changes must be made, but we have done well as a country. Cayman is not perfect, but we have come a long way in assisting people. To me, this is the best place to live at any time, to move and have our being. When I was elected in 1984, a few people were getting $25 per month. A few people. There were no housing assistance. There was one scholarship from the private sector, from the Bankers Association, and government only gave the already well-off or the exceptionally bright. There were no kind of vocational training in the country. There were no pensions, no labor benefits. We worked under the masters and servants law, the slave law. Back then, a woman went back to work 4 weeks after delivering a child. That is not so today. Thank God I could fight and put the benefits in place that are in place today. They ask you what I have done. I would take a long time to tell you the good things that Cayman benefits from today. Think if I had not done the things of pushing pensions and labor benefits, what would have happened to us? Back then, they were stealing the gratuities from tourism right, left, and center. And so as Minister of Labor, I took them on in the late 1980s and 90s. And while not perfect, people do better today in the workforce than back then. Back then, working for $6, $7 an hour in the tourism industry, my mother worked for her last 50 years. This was what they lived on, but they were stealing it, and some of that is still going on today. They're taking from the people, from the Jamaicans, from the Latino workers here, and from our local people. You might have heard about an incident that I had. Ask yourself why that incident happened. It happened because I was taking care of workers. That's a longer story which I will not get into at this point in time. So yes, there's much more to be done in the area of social development, but we have come a long way. And if I am re-elected, no matter which part of the House I am in, I will advocate for a social development reawakening of such community development as I have been talking about. There's a need for a word of caution that I will bring at this point. And before I do, for those who say I've done nothing or I've been there too long, just think if I had allowed the Foreign and Commonwealth Office to push through the tax plan that they had for us in 2009 of income tax, of property tax, and of value-added tax. That means tax on everything you purchase. Just think of where you might have been today, or where the country would have been today. I used my phrase that day in that visit to the Foreign Office, I will not be doing this. I will not be signing at this point in time. I left my pen home. But there's a word of caution, because there is this attitude that we have gone too fast. That we've gone too fast for those that have already made their money and have their big homes and no mortgage. Where does that leave the rest? So they can easily say they don't want this, they don't want that, because they have already made it. But I don't look at it that way. We must be fair. We must have a balance. And so where does the money come from to do the things that is necessary? Where does the money come from? The wherewithal to do all that is necessary for people and to run the country. Sure, there can be a relook at where and how funds and government revenue is spent today. But don't think it stops there, as when you do one thing with government's revenue stream, it mostly impacts another. Control is a good word, but don't let it run away, or we'll become no better off than the metropolitan countries where people run from to come to the Cayman Islands. So if all that we say is needed, and all we want that is needed, new sources of revenue must be found. So it is very easy for some of these candidates, those who run against me now, and want to say that they've been everywhere and done everything. Well, ask yourselves, what have they done for the Cayman Islands? What have they done for anybody? It is very easy for these candidates, or those who really never took up a deep responsibility to help others. It's easy for them to say, who are we developing for? Well, that's a cliche now for the person who will not go out of their comfort zone to help someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, government must find the wherewithal to pay for the education needs, the kind of health care and the availability of it that gives everyone a comfort life. Government must find the roads, the airport, the docks, all the needs for our senior citizens, our entire infrastructural needs. Government must find that money to pay for these things. So where is it coming from? Money can only come from business and investment. We do not print money. And no, we're not putting in any income tax or property tax. I will fight that all the days of my life. And even if that happened to have been done, you still have to have the wherewithal to pay for it. And so while there are those talking about not giving concessions, unfortunately we live with a world that some businesses coming here will want support from government. Government will have to continue. It has to be balanced. And government must balance the concession with what the country get out of it in the future. In other words, government assists a business venture, but in the long term, that business must be employing Caymanians and is spending other revenues from that business here in Cayman. So, government must balance this. I know this is an issue for some people, but I have given concessions But I consider if I gave concessions to a business of $1.9 million or $2.1 million and the government got back $22 million, I consider that's a good start. And that's what I'm talking about. But that's what I did. Of course, my opponents don't say that. They say something else. And accuse you, of course, because it's easy to do that. But it takes somebody with vision and hard work, because that's what it takes. And so, to address the matter of high costs in the country, we have to have money coming in. And that must be a balance to it. We know that cost is high in these islands. High to run a business and high cost of living for me and you. We understand that the material standards of living that many enjoy and most Caymanians aspire to are higher than they have ever been. So, yes, the standards of living is high, so we are better off than we were 50 years ago. Today there's no plant and trash bin, no outside toilet, and I could go on the improvements that have been made for our lives. Education is better. Government spends millions of dollars educating people overseas and our local community college. But so is the cost of living for all of us. People who can earn enough can achieve a good life from it, but only those who can keep earning more and more can hold on to their standard of living. So if a person is able to reach such a livable standard, both getting there and keeping up there are far more difficult in today's Cayman, and more so for parents than for others. And we will address these issues and find solutions to them. And I am inviting you to come out tonight at the jetty at the Turtle Farm Road junction of Turtle Farm Road or Northwest Point Road and Town Hall Road. I invite you to come and hear as we produce our manifesto, myself, West Bay West, Ralston Anglin for West Bay North, and Captain Eugene E. Banks for West Bay Central. We are workers. We have worked for you. We will continue to work for you. For West Bay West, you know that I have been a good worker. Listen not to those pie-in-the-sky ideas that come from people who live in two districts. They don't live all their time in West Bay. I do. For 66 years, I have lived in my area. Thank you for listening, and may Almighty God bless you. Again, I remind you of our meeting on Monday evening, today, 7:45 p.m. It will be carried live also on Radio Cayman. Thank you, and may Almighty God bless you. Continue to be safe, you and your family.
The proceeding was a paid political announcement by Mr. McKeever Bush from West Bay.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Studio time now by Foster's is 3 minutes after 8.
It's freezing. Well, yeah, it's Frozen Food Month at Foster's, and they're giving away 4 $250 Foster's cards. To enter, just purchase any 3 products from the frozen department from now until March 27th. Then enter online with your receipt.
So I could buy a frozen pizza for dinner, frozen berries for my morning smoothie, and those frozen plant-based sausages that you love?
Exactly. For more info, go to fosters.ky/Frozen Food Month. Foster's. Better because we care.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The country will know by the end of the day officially who will be on the April 14th ballot. It's nomination day, and candidates across all districts will be submitting their completed set of nomination forms to their electoral district's returning officer today through 3 p.m. Those intending to run in the general election must be nominated by at least 2 people who, at the time of signing the nomination paper, are registered electors of the district they're running for. Nomination forms also must be accompanied by a $1,000 deposit. And candidates will have to tell the returning officer if they belong to a registered party while they're there. Candidates will be nominated throughout the day today, with the first round expected to take place this hour in West Bay. So make sure to keep it locked right here to Radio Cayman as we bring you coverage throughout the day. In other news, Minister for Finance and Economic Development, the Honourable Roy McTaggart, receives a plaque marking the government's successful attainment of a credit line and loan facility from a consortium of local banks. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
The ceremony marks the Cayman Islands government's successful conclusion of the line of credit and loan facility from 4 local banks. These funds are designed to provide a financial buffer for the islands if needed, should the COVID-19 closure of the borders and related impact on the economy continue longer than expected. The consortium consisted of Butterfield Bank, Cayman National, First Caribbean, which acted as lead agent of the consortium, and RBC Royal Bank Cayman. The line of credit is for U.S. $403 million, which is available to the Cayman Islands government to access over the next 16 months should the need arise. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
And in other news,
my name is Alyssa West.
My name is Jessica Calderon Ebanks.
My name is Sidoni Barrett.
I am Krista Ebanks.
My name is Rashana Hines.
the 5 young ladies competing for Miss World Cayman Islands have received official sashes from their sponsors at a sashing event at Government House on Thursday. During the event, each contestant spoke about their vision of how they want to make a difference in their community with their chosen platform. Pageant sponsors were also in attendance. The Miss World competition under the theme Inspire will take place at the Harkwell on May 29th at 6 p.m. Reigning Queen J.C. Patrick will crown her successor at the grand finale. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. 2 new charges have been filed against the deposed Burmese leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Her appearance in court via video link was the first time her lawyers have seen her since the coup a month ago. Demonstrators have been out on the streets of Yangon. Britain has accused China of using Hong Kong's new national security law to stifle political dissent. Dozens of opposition activists are being charged under the law, something the British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said violated the Sino-British Joint Declaration on the territory. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has become the world's first recipient of a coronavirus vaccination under COVAX, a scheme to immunise people in poorer countries. He urged Ghanaians to dismiss conspiracy theories surrounding jabs. Ghana's COVAX programme is extended tomorrow, while Ivory Coast starts today with doses for health workers. The biggest power supplier in Texas has filed for protective bankruptcy following last month's severe winter weather. The rare cold snap left 4 million Texans without power. Rights groups have urged India to give refuge to more than 80 Rohingya people on a boat adrift in the Andaman Sea. They said it was Delhi's obligation under international law to protect the refugees, said to have left Bangladesh several weeks ago, intending to reach Malaysia. 8 have died. The fiancé of the late Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi has called for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to be punished for his murder. Hatice Cengiz said that if the prince escaped sanction, it would be a stain on humanity. Russia's communications regulator has accused Twitter of violating the law and warned it could face a large fine. It accused the social media giant of failing to remove posts containing pornographic images of children or information on suicide or narcotics, among other things. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of planned works to upgrade the water supply infrastructure along Anthony Drive between the Smith Road and Andy Drive intersections. Works will begin on Monday, 8th February, and the project will last 6 to 8 weeks. Through the course of the work, customers in the area may experience service outages. The authority makes every effort to give advance notice related to outages. Customers can also visit our website, www.waterauthority.ky, for updates or tune into Radio Cayman for outage notices. Motorists are advised to avoid driving in the area between 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. weekdays during the works. If motorists must use the road, they are encouraged to drive with caution and follow all traffic signs to ensure their and the authority's staff's safety. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it undertakes these works and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or email www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 80%. The barometric pressure 29.99 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 6 knots. Overnight low temperature was 76 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate to fresh easterly winds and rough seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a high pressure system over the Atlantic Ocean. Radar images show isolated showers south of Grand Cayman moving west. Now the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s today and will fall to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters for today and tonight as well. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 10:47, low tide this evening at 12 minutes past 5, and a high tide again tonight at 11:33. The sun will set this evening at 6:30 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:44. And the outlook is calling for moderate easterly winds and seas from this evening as the high pressure system begins to weaken. That's the very latest on your weather report.
8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or email www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Commencement at the University College of the Cayman Islands is being moved to spring, in line with more traditional practices in other countries. The spring date will allow graduating students to be a part of the university's celebrations of their accomplishments. UCCI's 2021 commencement ceremony will be on Saturday, the 24th April 2021, 7:30 p.m. at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. Application deadline for graduating students to apply for graduation is Friday, the 12th of March 2021. For all the information on commencement 2021 and to access the graduation form, you can visit www.ucci.edu.ky/graduation.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking, change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look what's happening on our roads. And just to let you know, there was a two-vehicle accident earlier this morning just past the Red Bay roundabout. It is adding to delays as you head on down to Georgetown. If you're coming from the east, especially in westbound traffic, traffic is heavy on Shamrock Road as well as Rex Crichton Boulevard. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway. A lot of patience needed this morning as you're heading down to Georgetown. Some people are in traffic about 45 minutes. Also, the roads are wet, so please drive with extra care. Traffic busy coming off the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. Steady traffic on Cool Road, some sections busy. As we look to Halter Avenue, traffic is steady but flowing. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic steady but flowing as well. And Edward Street traffic move along pretty good. Into Georgetown on Shen Road, not looking too bad as traffic flowing moderately. On the West Bay Road, Traffic is moderate in both directions, especially in front of the Ritz. Coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the Industrial Park area, traffic is steady but flowing. Now, if you've seen any accidents or any other incidents on Cayman's roads affecting traffic, please let us know, 949-6990. That's the very latest on your traffic, and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
Now you'll never have to choose between two desserts at Subway. The new caramel brownie cookie is 2 treats in 1. Imagine sweet, gooey caramel with decadent chocolate chunks baked in brownie-flavored dough and topped with a light drizzle of caramel icing. And you have the new caramel brownie cookie, available at Subway. Complete your Subway sandwich, pizza, or salad with the delicious caramel brownie cookie or any other cookie flavor and dessert. Available at all Subway locations. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, we have Chief Officer, Miss Teresa Echenike, also with us. You heard her earlier, the Director of Department of Children and Family Services, Miss Paulinda Mendoza Williams. Ladies, if you were on a basketball team or even on a football team and you were sitting on the bench, you know, this long, you would have to warm up all over again before you got back into the game. But we're back on again. We're talking about Social Work Month in the Cayman Islands. See, it's been so long, I forgot what we were talking about as well. So I'm going to throw the mic back over to you, Ms. Teresa. Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be here. Good morning to our listening audience. OC, this morning, my job is extremely easy. I am very excited and very, very honored and privileged to be here with Director Mendoza Williams this morning. And I want to extend congratulations to her and her team for doing an amazing job. I think oftentimes because they're working behind the scenes, we underestimate the amount of work that they do, and we don't always understand and appreciate the amount and the extent of work that they contribute to this community. But they've done an amazing job, and this month only highlights that. Social work is always evolving. It's always services that we need to constantly look at. We need to ensure that it's meeting the needs of our people. So what we were doing in the 60s and 70s, 80s, we have had to revise and upgrade. And the department, for a small country, for a small department, they have been amazing in terms of the work that they are doing. The staff they're truly unsung heroes, OC, and I can't emphasize enough. And this month will allow us to highlight some of the works that they are doing and truly appreciate what they contribute to our community. So to director and to her staff at DCFS. Thank you very much for all that you do, for sacrificing many times very late nights, weekends. But it's for our country and it's for our people. It's for the most vulnerable. And so today, I want to start this month off by extending gratitude and appreciation.
Okay, so Ms. Paulinda, again, want to remind our audience the theme, for this month, Social Month.
So the theme for this year, 2021, is social workers are essential. And again, just to say thank you to the Chief Officer for her words of support and encouragement, and also to thank herself and her ministry for the support and guidance that they do give to the Department of Children and Family Services. So we also appreciate that. And it is a team effort in terms of our accomplishments and being able to address our challenges. But back to what I was speaking about earlier in terms of our services. So we have our community development team, our case management support, our adoption and foster care. We have our elderly services team, and I did mention our MASH unit as well as it relates to child safeguarding. We also have our adult special needs program, and those are our community care workers who deal with our residential facilities and take care of our vulnerable adults, children, and our elderly. And as it says, the theme, social workers are essential, I broaden that to say persons in the human services field are essential. And when we think about 2020 and what we have had to deal with, I have to say a very big congratulations to both our in-house staff, the social workers, community development, and our community care workers, both here and Kim and Brack, because we have offices in the Brack and residential care home in the Brack as well, that we have maintained a COVID-free organization to date.
Congratulations.
Particularly in our residential care facilities. None of our staff have contracted COVID in the context of work, or have we had any case with our elderly or vulnerable children or adults in the home. So I think that is an extremely big accomplishment considering the environment that we're in. We were also able to open a new caring facility last year as well amidst the pandemic, which was Habakkuk House. And that home caters to our children with special needs who have been placed in state care.
Okay.
So when we talk about being essential and being creative, thinking outside the box and meeting the needs of our community, back in 2020, we were able to continue with some of our programs that we thought, well, maybe because of the lockdown, what's happening, we weren't going to be able to do that. We were able to do Child Month in May, and that took on a virtual experience. We had discussions. Our teen panel was via Zoom, and again, we learned how to use Zoom quite a lot, still using it. We had a scavenger hunt that was via Zoom, partnered with other agencies, so we were able to keep some level of normalcy, particularly for our children as well as our elderly. There was a lot of emphasis on ensuring that our elderly were cared for, that they remain connected. Socially, they remain connected in terms of getting their groceries, their medication, and that has continued into this year as well. And we're seeing where certain programs are evolving out of what we did last year. Chief spoke about the history of this department, and just to say that 1963
was in the 60s, yes.
Was when it was the department or probation unit.
Miss Joyce Hilton.
Miss Joyce Hilton, the mother of social work practice in the Cayman Islands, came online, and if my math is correct, 1963, we're 2021, we're looking at 58 years this year. I'm a social worker, not an
37 and 21, 58. Yes.
Yes. So we will soon be celebrating 60 60 years of social work practice in the Cayman Islands, and the foundation that has been established is certainly maintaining a solid social work practice. As Chief said as well, we continue to evolve, and that is the goal of this department, to ensure that we continue to elevate our social work practice and standards, that our services are bar none. I want to say that our aim is to be the flagship for the Caribbean when it comes to delivering social work practice and interventions in the Caribbean. So we do have a long history, but we're also venturing into new territories to ensure that we continue the legacy and the solid foundation that has maintained. And as I speak about Social Work Month and Ms. Joyce Hilton, we were very much blessed last year with the Mike Simmons estate. They donated our Social Work Month awards for our recipients last year, and they've committed to 5 years in funding that award. So we've given awards to the Social Worker of the Year, and we've also done the Social Worker on the various teams that I spoke about earlier.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want you to talk about the special qualities that it takes for an individual to have to be involved in social work, because it not any and everyone can just simply go and do social work, and I want you to talk about that as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record with Miss Teresa Echenike, and Miss Paulina Mendoza Williams will continue after this short commercial break.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste, just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed, and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
We, as Caymanians, live by our choices and by using our voice to bring about change. On April 14th, Cayman and Georgetown West holds the power to turn the page to a more hopeful, more empowered chapter in our country's leadership. My fellow Caymanians, my name is Perlina Magal Lumsden, and I'm proud to be your candidate for Georgetown West. I hope that you will join our movement and use your voice to vote for me, a candidate that will work tirelessly to put you, your families, your education, your employment, and our environment first.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Ms. Teresa Echenike, the Chief Officer, as well as Ms. Paulinda Mendoza-Williams, the Director of the Department of Children and Family Services. Before I throw the mic back over to them, we understand that there's an accident, a vehicular accident in the vicinity of the Lobster Pot, and what is suggested as an alternative or alternate route would be to take Borden Road. I guess if you're heading to the west or to the north, heading towards West Bay, you may want to take Borden Road, go on Eastern Avenue, and then come back around by Delworth's gas station. If you're coming in the opposite direction and heading south, you may want to continue on Eastern Avenue, take Borden Road if it's necessary for you to come back over to Seafarers Way as well. Notice I call it Seafarers Way. I think it says Seafarers Drive or something, but I'm renaming it Seafarers Way as well. So those qualities, those essential qualities of a person who wants to be engaged in social work.
So social work is a practice-based profession that promotes social change, development, cohesion, and empowerment of people and communities. And it takes a very special type of person to want to enter this field, because we say it's not a glamorous area of work at all. We're working with people at their most vulnerable times. They're sharing very personal stories. Sometimes some of them don't even want to talk about those incidents, those experiences. And to be able to do that, you have to have professional integrity. Mm-hmm. But you yourself you have to have a set of core values, understanding, non-discriminatory approach to dealing with what you're being faced with and asked to address an individual's passion. Mm-hmm. Passion, I think, is the word that we use in social work. You have to have passion. You have to have passion for the profession, but you have to have passion for people and wanting to see people achieve their potential, to be able to know that they can unlock within themselves the solutions to what they're experiencing. Because it's not about us telling people what to do and how to do it. People have the resources, but they just need that extra encouragement, that extra upliftment. Social work requires you to be extremely confidential. You have to be able to get information and know that information stays with you. You're not sharing it with other individuals, other agencies, unless you have permission to do so. Social work requires you to have professional identity, adhere to core principles, understand that it's not just about what is presented in front of you and the immediate, but the long-term effects. As I say, it's about promoting social change. So you can't go into this profession being that I'm not going to speak out about the ills that are happening or to come up with solutions. Mm-hmm. We're also a solution-focused profession.
Okay, Ms. Teresa?
Yes, in addition to all that Paulinda has said, and I agree with her 100%, this is definitely a profession that must come from the heart. Persons, I think, they know this is the area that they want to be a part of. They're committed to it, and it's sometimes quite interesting because our job description really is not what we have on the piece of paper that say job description. It is many times absolutely nothing that we're not involved with. Our hands are very broad and extend in various areas. And just last year, again, I think that sometimes when the director and her staff speak, they minimize the amount of work that they do and the extent of work that they do, because
they're quite modest.
They are extremely modest, and in addition to all of the services that they were offering for day-to-day operations based on the mandate of the department. As she indicated, a new facility was open, ongoing services were done, but the staff was also a very active part of the quarantine facility. They were out there in the community ensuring that persons' needs were met in various areas. Mm-hmm. They worked hand in hand with other agencies, public and private sector. So the amount of work that they do on a daily basis, we're never able to truly capture that in a job description, and persons have to be willing to do this because it's coming from the heart, because they care about the people in the community and they care about our country on a whole. So we do indeed have a very unique and special group of persons that work within the Department of Children and Family Services, and that's why I started off by saying, our gratitude and appreciation, really words could never express to them how much we appreciate, how much we admire the work that they're doing, and that truly what they're doing benefits our entire Cayman Islands.
Okay, excellent. I want to talk about some of the events that are scheduled, but also one of our listeners sent a message, and they were curious to know what services are provided for social workers, those that sometimes may experience traumatic situations, and whether or not the counseling services and other support mechanisms are available for them as well.
So interesting enough, that is a very critical component of making sure that we take care of our own well-being. And one of the things that I will never forget, one of my social work courses 101, my professor said, you have to ensure that you take care of yourself before you take care of others. And we continue to work on ensuring that our team, our staff, are engaged in wellness events, both fun events, training, but also that they have access to being able to speak with someone in the event that they're dealing with matters that, bring back certain memories or experiences, or they just need to be able to share and to be in a safe place to speak about how that event or experience has affected them on the job. So absolutely, staff well-being, both physical and emotional, is a priority within the department and the ministry. So we do ensure that persons are able to access those services.
And because it seems like they're going 24/7, they're always putting other person's needs before theirs. We sometimes tend to feel these people are truly, social workers are truly superheroes of some sort. Reality is they're humans just like everybody else. And social workers go through their moments of trials, sicknesses, challenges within their own families and their own households. So we have to constantly be mindful of that, because like Paulinda said, it's about taking care of our own as well. Because if our social workers are not strong enough, as determined as they are, if they do not get the support and if they're not strong enough to handle their personal issues, then they will not be able to truly address the issues that the community have. But I think the director and her team, again, have done an absolute fabulous job just internally supporting each other, because we have had persons within the department that has fallen ill, and they've rallied around each other other, and they've extended the time off and said, take care of yourself. We will cover on our end what need to be covered. So again, congratulations to her and her team, but it is an ongoing process. One of the areas that we are indeed looking at for the new budget cycle is to have an in-house psychologist on our team, because these are pieces of work that we know the support is needed, not only for our staff members, but for the clientele that we work with. But we need to have that happy balance.
If I may share a more recent experience.
Sure.
So we did some changes in terms of staffing, changing up with members of various teams, and our MASH team is it's a new team, and we have some young Caymanian social workers on that team. And again, dealing with child abuse matters, whether you're a seasoned worker or not, dealing with that day-to-day crisis intervention, seeing some of the horrors of child abuse in our society does have a significant effect on your emotional and mental well-being. And we did have a meeting just talking through some of the challenges that they were having. And in speaking to them, it was quite evident that definitely ensuring that they have a sounding board, that they have access to being able to go to a professional and just sit and chat, about what they may be going through, having experience working on a child safeguarding matter. I know I have some superstars, as Chief said. We do think that we are superheroes and more so superhuman. Some staff will come back and say, no, I'm okay, I don't need it. But, whether or not they need it, we are providing it. And it is all too crucial to ensure that we're able, both physically and emotionally, to go out there and to empower and encourage people and to give them that support to deal with those issues that they're dealing with as individuals and families.
Okay, we have to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with the segment of the show this morning with Miss Teresa Echenike and Miss Paulinda Mendoza Williams. We're talking about Social Work Month 2021. The theme is social workers are essential, and you heard earlier about some of the qualities that it really takes to be a social worker. The work doesn't come with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, but it takes a real dedicated person to do that as well. So we have another WhatsApp message here. This one says, would they say who's in charge of the Phoenix lockdown in West Bay for girls? And then the individual also says, that's great what Miss Paulinda just spoke about. Can one imagine then what the children victims and their families go through as well? Yeah. Okay. So
to the question about Phoenix House. Phoenix House is secure accommodations, and that is under the management of Keys. We work closely with Keys in terms of providing safe places for our children who require removal from their home environment. Of course, it's a temporary placement whilst they're in state care, because we often, our plan always is to have them reunified with their families or caring members of society who are working with us as well.
Okay. And anything you want to add to what you were saying earlier in terms of and
well, you
the
said
person's comments
you
in
said
relation
no stress, and no anxiety. I strongly doubt that. It's an extremely stressful and oftentimes anxious situations that we're placed in. But again, thinking on our feet, being solution focused, having your team support, but it also segues into the conversation about the importance of work-life balance and maintaining the opportunity for staff to be able to unwind and possibly, if needed, sit with someone to share some of the stressful events that they may be experiencing as it relates to the type of work that we do. For our children and our families who are experiencing the issues of that awful plague that's in our society of child abuse, again, as a department, as a government, as a ministry, we cannot deal with that on our own. We have to take a very strong, proactive measure in ensuring that our children are safe, and not to sound cliche-ish, but if we don't take care of our children, we're not taking care of our nation.
Okay. So we want to talk about the events as well.
Our events. So I said earlier that we will be celebrating the month by having our church service this Sunday, the 7th of March at Church of God Universal here in Grand Cayman on Walkers Road at 11 a.m. And we're inviting the public to come out and celebrate with us as we seek our blessings and be thankful for the guidance and the blessings that our good Lord has placed in our profession, but also as a nation. Again, just going back to what we have experienced the last year and taken us safely through. We have series of For the Records and Talk Today, where our teams are coming on to share some more about the work that we do in the department. We have a church service in the BRAC on the 14th as well. So persons who are going over to the BRAC for the weekend or so, we invite you to come to Watering Place Church in Cayman BRAC, and that's at 11 a.m. as well.
And just before Paulinda moves on to speak about any other activities, I want to, again, put some emphasis on services that are in the BRAC, in Little Cayman, because oftentimes when we hear about the works that we're doing and a lot of the services, we hear about it here in Gran. We have an established team in Cayman BRAC, and some of the activities that we will be doing will be extended to the BRAC and to Little Cayman. So it's important for people to know that when we think about celebrating the entire month of activities, it is across the 3 islands. It's not only here in Grand Cayman, because the pieces of work that they are doing in the BRAC, again, the social workers, the community care workers in the residential facilities, they're caring for our most vulnerable. And Paulinda spoke about it earlier on, but that team, especially for the residential facility, was able to care and keep our seniors in the residential facility safe throughout the pandemic. So again, we can never express our gratitude, and words would never be able to truly indicate how much we appreciate their contribution.
Excellent. Yeah, we have a strong but mighty team in the BRAC as well. We have, and coincidentally, March is also Women's Month, and we work closely with FRC. But to also share that for most persons, social work is a predominantly female profession, but we are happy to say that we have been increasing our numbers by recruiting quite a few male social workers. So we want to put it out there to our young male Caymanians who may be interested in this field. Give us a call, 949-0290. We're happy to talk to you if you want to enter this wonderful profession. We will be doing on Tuesday the 9th, Empowering Women workshop at Austin Ruddy Center, and that's in the BRAC, 12 to 1. We also have that going on in Little Cayman. Work-life balances in Little Cayman on the 21st. And then we're doing some wellness activities with staff and the public in the BRAC. Rise and Shine Wellness Hike at Peter's Cave, Cayman BRAC, 6:45. That's early for some people. We are also definitely engaging with our UCCI partners and having a Q&A mix and mingle event with the young social work students at UCCI, informal setting for them to ask, questions about, our profession as they do their academics to be able to enter into the field. We have other events, but again, those are events that are catering to the staff. As I said, we're trying to do some fun activities, wellness activities as well. We have our Social Work Awards breakfast, which will be on the 26th of March. That is a closed event as well. Of course, space is limited, and it's to acknowledge the wonderful work that the team does year round. And I just want to say again that I work with an awesome group of people. They are dedicated, committed, loyal, and I can only accomplish what I do because I have them. I'm really, really humble and honored to be working with them. So I just want to take this morning to say a sincere thank you. You're awesome. You're wonderful. You are superheroes. And I look forward to continuing this work with you as we dare to ensure that we do make the practice one that we are recognized globally for our standards.
Okay. Some closing comments from you, Ms. Theresa?
I'm not sure what else there is to say. I think that the director has done an absolute amazing job acknowledging the team, but covering the activities of the month. To the public, what I would say to you is please give your support to the Department of Children and Family Services. Please give your support to the social workers. They make their job look extremely easy, but it is stressful. It is demanding. It is time away from their families, and they work very, very long hours. If you see any social workers out, please encourage them. Please congratulate them. And we are excited by this, and we look forward to a month of very productive activities. We look forward to the public hearing more about the Children and in Family Services, and to take this opportunity to acknowledge our team. But it doesn't stop in March. March is considered Social Work Month, but we want to ensure that we constantly support and acknowledge this amazing team all year round.
Okay, well, ladies, I want to thank you and your staff for the tremendous amount of work that you do as well. And we've seen where social work in the Cayman Islands has gone from the days of Miss Joyce Hilton, one probation officer. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it basically involved truants, young, mainly boys, right. Who, for whatever reasons, had difficulties. And those were the days also when we didn't deal with our issues here in Cayman. We sent them off to another jurisdiction for other, people to deal with them. Some of those situations worked out quite well, and we ended up with young men who became productive citizens in our islands. But if we have problems, it is good for us to be able to deal with them ourselves, and that's exactly what you and your staff are now doing here. And we want to thank you all very much for that as well. Folks, top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. We're scheduled to have Dr. Lee as well as Dr. Hazel Brown on the show to talk about COVID-19. We were also scheduled to talk about the youth Parliament. I know that the traffic situation in on the roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, that traffic situation has prevented others from being able to be on schedule. But if not, we have other things to talk about. Nomination Day as well. When we return, I will tell you about some of the processes, the notices that have been put out by the Elections Office in relation to Nomination Day as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, everywhere we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present. Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Nomination Day has formally begun, and candidates across the country are heading to their district offices to register their intent to run in the April 14th general election. We've got this report filed by Radio Cayman's April Cummings.
Carsley, I spotted elections office officials with their flags waving early this morning. Unlike Election Day, Nomination Day is not a public holiday, so it's all intermingled with the usual commute and activity on the roads. There are 19 nomination locations set up, basically one for each of the 19 single-member constituencies. The nomination process involves 2 people. They nominate the actual candidate. Both of the nominators need to be registered voters in the district the candidate plans to run in. The whole process kicked off at 8 o'clock this morning, and it will last until 3 o'clock today. We will bring you coverage throughout the day and wrap it all up on Radio Cayman News at 6. April Cummings reporting from Georgetown for Radio Cayman News.
And the elections office says they're ready for whatever the day brings. Their teams assembled early this morning and rolled out with the sunrise. All 17 nomination stations in Grand Cayman and 2 nomination stations in Cayman Brac are ready and set for the day. Nominations close at 3 p.m. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Radio show and talk show is, I guess, it's a living thing. So, we can change as we go. And now we're going to talk about scholarships in the Cayman Islands and school scholarships. And from the scholarship Secretariat, we have Miss Shari Smith, who is no stranger to Radio Cayman, no stranger to For the Record as well, and she's going to tell us the latest as it relates to scholarships. Miss Smith, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor. Thank you for having me, and it's good. It's good to be back. It feels like it was just yesterday I was here,
Yep.
Which probably it was. But yeah, today is March the 1st. We are already in the third month of 2021. Can you believe it?
Yep.
Which means that our local application period is officially open today until April the 30th. So if persons who are interested in pursuing studies or continuing their education locally, now is the time to put in that application, which is an online application process.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the local institutions and the programs?
So the local institutions would be programs such as, obviously, the University, UCCI, University College Cayman Islands, programs or degree programs at ICCI, so the International College of Cayman Islands. We also have persons who may be applying to attend the Truman and Bodden Law School. Trying to think of all the things though. We do have some new options coming online. One of those is the Cayman Academy. I think it's Cayman Academy. No, it's not Cayman Academy. It's Miss Jackie's school of beauty. And I apologize, Miss Jackie. I'm not remembering the name of it right now.
Dance?
No, it's Miss Jackie Smith. So the School for Beautician and
yes.
Cosmetology and Massage. That is one of the new programs and that we are going to be able to provide scholarship for persons who may be interested in attending that program, which I think is like a year and a half. And then we also have A-levels. So our A-levels program application is changed up a bit. What we are actually going to be doing is persons who are interested in going to A-levels, especially our students in our public school system, we are going to try not having them apply for their first year of A-levels this year. Because usually what happens is we always have a group in August of emails that come in saying, I didn't know I had to apply for a scholarship. So since year 12 is a compulsory year anyway, and if they have been identified as a dual enrollment student, then we would be covering their costs for that A-level program. And so what students will have to do, however, is they will have to identify what A-level institution they would like to go to. And they would have to apply to that institution, get a conditional letter of acceptance. And then once the exam results come in, and unfortunately, it sounds like we might have something similar to last year where exam results were a bit late. Once those results are in, then they would, again, take those to the school, and then we would know whether they have been provide us with exam results as well as the conditional, and we would sort things out. So taking out hopefully something that may have been impeding some persons who wanted to attend A-levels and just get caught up in everything and don't get to submit their application. And so I think that is basically it for locals. Well, we also have the IB program at CIS, so if persons are interested in doing their year 12 and 13 at that program as well. And that's kind of it, I think, for locals I can think off the top of my head. The other thing which I really, really want to encourage, especially our students who are in our public school system, we do visit our government high schools. So we will be visiting the John Gray High School at some point and having a talk over the next couple of weeks. We will be at Clifton Hunter, and I think as well, and we will also be visiting SciFac. So I know that SciFac has already sent in a possible date for us to go up and talk with those students and so forth. And we also are available to meet with anyone from the private school sector that would like to look at applying. Those students in private school would still need to apply for the scholarship because they would not be counted under the dual enrollment because they're already in private school.
Okay.
If they're looking at doing A-levels, continuing on to A-levels. So it's a bit fluid. Some of these things continue to change. So the best option is that if you have a question you're not sure, send us an email at scholarships@gov.ky or call us at 244-2482. And we can answer your question and put you on the right track.
Now, as far as local scholarships are concerned, have they been impacted by COVID-19 in any way?
In terms of local scholarships, last year, what we did, and we did this provision across the board, is council approved basically a waiver if the current persons on local scholarships fell behind their the grade requirement, because we know that everybody kind of went from straight into online, and it was a bit challenging, and the infrastructure wasn't there, so there was some issues there. But because we have been so blessed in Cayman, once we got past that lockdown period and students resumed back and going into class, then things have been basically back to normal with our locals.
Okay. And this may be a little bit off topic, but
okay.
As far as overseas scholarships are concerned, and even though I know the focus is more
right.
on local ones here, are there provisions also for online studies? Rather than in person for overseas universities?
For overseas, which is closed now, but yeah, we did allow the provision of persons to look at online options. However, because the policy is that to be face-to-face, but we know that a lot of universities are still online. So students were really still encouraged to apply to university programs that eventually will go back to face-to-face programs. But we are in the review process now. And so, again, it's fluid. So, an individual may have applied to do a fully online program, and for their bachelor's, for example, and, council may look at their application and decide that, okay, we're not sure what's going on over the next couple of years, and so they approve it. But technically, it should be a face-to-face if you're doing your bachelor's. Most postgraduate programs are online, so those aren't usually an issue.
Okay. Now, for local scholarships, one of our listeners is curious to know what the criteria
is. Okay, so I am going to direct that listener to go to our webpage, because depending on what school you are graduating from, if it's a high school student, then the criteria is a bit is specific to that education format. So if you go to the website, which is the Ministry of Education /scholarships, I think it's education.gov.ky/scholarships, you will see there's a section on that page that specifically says local scholarships, and there is a listing of different documents, and we've actually separated every option. So if you're looking at going to A-levels, what you need to look at if you're going to IB, or you're in IB and you want to apply for a scholarship, what those criteria are and so forth. And if you already are in university and you're looking at continuing your studies, then what that criteria is as well.
Okay, have another question here, and this person wanted to know, and this is about overseas scholarships also, but you may not have to come on again.
It's the locals' time.
They wanted to know whether or not, if there are overseas scholarships available for children with learning difficulties / disabilities.
Okay, so students who have learning disabilities or special education needs challenges, what we do have is they would still have to apply for the regular scholarship, but what we do have is we do have a provision that if they are going to a school that has an additional program that's specifically designed to help that student access their program, and there's an additional cost, then there is a scholarship that can be specifically allotted for that.
Okay, we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning to you guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just tuned in, so I probably missed 3/4 of your show. On the scholarships, is it applicable to PR residents as well?
You have to have Cayman status and have the right to be Caymanian to access a scholarship.
So those with PRs are not eligible for it?
Unless they have the Cayman status attached to their permanent residency, then they wouldn't be.
And that wouldn't be the case here. If they had status, they wouldn't need PR.
PR, there you go.
Correct. Yeah. All right. Now, just wondering, because I like I said, I tuned in late, so I may have missed that if you had touched on that before.
Oh, okay. No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Caller, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's service center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking with the Director of the Scholarship Secretariat here in the Cayman Islands, Miss Shari Smith. This is going to be a short interview this morning because she will be back on later on in the month as well to talk more about scholarships as well. So, Dr. Shari Smith, we're going to come back over to you, give you an opportunity for some closing comments and anything else that you want to get across to our listening audience.
No problem. Thank you, sir. So just reminding persons that the local scholarship application, which is a fully online application process, has opened as of today, March the 1st, and it will be open until April the 30th, and we will be closing it at April 30th. There will be no extensions, just because of we are still processing overseas, and we now also have to do locals, and it's just, in order for everybody to get their answers in time for school to start August and September, we have to close off when we have to close off, right? But locals can apply to UCCI, ITCI, Truman Bodden. Basically, once the institution is established here locally, then it's considered local. We also provide coverage for the post-secondary programs, so such as the A-levels, CAPE, the IB programs, and we also cover some TVET programs. Most of the TVET programs tend to be overseas, but we do have some now that are being approved by Education Council, and one of those would be the Cayman Career Academy for the cosmetology and massage type stuff. So that's kind of it. I mean, again, or go to the website, which is education.gov.ky/scholarships. All the information is there. Look under locals. And the best thing to do if you're going to download anything is download that guidance document for local scholarships and the document that's specific to the institution you may be coming from in terms of the criteria.
Okay, and one more time, repeat that dateline.
The dateline is starts today, March 1st, and it closes on April the 30th. And even mature persons who want to continue or maybe just starting their career, this is an opportunity for you also if you're interested in attending, UCCI and doing your associates or bachelors to also apply. It's never too late to get educated.
Okay. Dr. Shara Smith, I want to thank you very much. I look
you,
forward to having you again later on this month. Folks, quick commercial break. When we return, we will have Dr. Hazel Brown and Dr. John Lee in the studio talking about COVID-19, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000. April 14th, 2021 is Election Day in the Cayman Islands.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there for incumbents and future candidates alike. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have lots of guests this morning and For the Record. More guests than politicians. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio, no strangers again, Dr. John Lee, Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Brown, who's the head of, I'm going to just say head of nursing at the Health Services Authority, and also one of our colleagues here at Radio Cayman, former director of Radio Cayman, Mr. Loxley Banks, has joined us as well. So, folks, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, and thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for having us, Mr. Ossie, and thank you, Mr. Loxley, for joining me at such short notice.
Be careful. Be careful what you say with no politician.
We'll know after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, so folks, how's the COVID-19 vaccine program going?
I think the program is going very well, OC. As of Saturday, we had given a total of 23,208 jabs, of which 14,717. That means that at least one person has had the jab. That represents 22.6% of the population, or 28% of those that are eligible, because of course we can only give the jab to those over 16, and 8,491, which represents 12% of the population, have had a complete course. So they've had both the first one and the second one 21 days later of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which is the vaccine that we are using for our vaccination program. Of those that are over 70, we have now vaccinated the magical 90%, and those over 60, 85%. So we're doing very well, and those numbers keep edging up every time we report. They go up a little bit further. The reason that we're focusing so much on the elderly is that we know that by far those who are likely to die and have an adverse outcome will be those over the age of 50, which is why we're focusing on the elderly, and it's exponential as you go up. I think the other things to worry about are that those with comorbidities we've also been prioritizing, and one of those comorbidities is obviously those people who are overweight, because we know that again, diabetes, being overweight, heart disease, these are all things which will predispose you to a poor outcome from COVID. And just to encourage people, it's great if people would come forward for the vaccination, because it's not just preventing you from getting the disease, but it's also the long-term effects you might get from COVID. Those 10% of people that go on to get long COVID, where their lungs or their kidneys or other organs are permanently affected, or at least affected for several months. We have a few people like that in Cayman already. It's bad news. We don't want anybody to get that.
Okay, Dr. Brown?
I think I'd like to just follow up on something that Dr. Lee said here about the long COVID syndrome, because I think a lot of us misunderstand. Like I've said before, we're victims of our own success, because we've had no local people, very few local persons in our cases, and our deaths have both been expatriate deaths. I think we've somehow distanced ourselves from the seriousness of the COVID infection. And so you may get the infection and it may be like a flu. We've been saying 70% of our cases are asymptomatic. The other 30%, not all of them die, but a lot of people have very, very long-term sequelae. We have cardiac involvement, there can be renal involvement, there can be lung damage, there can be stroke. There's so many things that come along with COVID that I feel that we're not quite understanding very clearly because, like I said, we've done so well here. And I think we need to be, while I don't want us spending too much time around social media and the messages that are out there about vaccine and anti-vaxxers and that sort of thing, I think we need to be alert to what is happening in the broader world, the outcome of COVID, how many persons have died to date in other countries that didn't have the lockdown, that didn't handle it as effectively as we have handled it, and recognize that that can happen again. At some point in time, we have to open our borders if our economy is going to get back to its full potential. And then the persons who are not vaccinated are going to be the persons who are then going to be filling the critical care beds and ending up with the long-term sequelae. So I really want us to think about that, not just because we don't have COVID here, we haven't had a severe problem per se and no local deaths. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. We're not out of the woods.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Dr. John Lee, Dr. Hazel Brown, and our own Mr. Loxley Banks will continue, so please stay tuned.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success. With Roper's Janitorial, we make your business shine. 949-2511, Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Dr. John Lee, Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Brown, Head of Nursing at the Health Services Authority, and our own Mr. Loxley Bank. I'm told we have a caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
I'm calling to tell because I understand that a lot of the Caymanian men are not taking the vaccine. And I can tell them, one guy told me, I can't say what he told me on the radio, but if you guys want to know what it is, I'm afraid to tell it in person, but I know I'm going to laugh. But it's a good thing what he said done to him. And I'm sure that all men, Caymanian and foreigners, would like that if it's so, because he's so joking, because I met him and he was going to nudge me on my arm, and I said, look out, I had the vaccine. He said, oh, you had it? You had the two? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, what did to you? I said, well, the first one was cool, nothing, but the second one I had a little fever and a little swelling and it hurt. But he said it didn't do nothing to him. Only one thing it done to him, and I bust out a laughing when he tell me, but I can't tell you guys that over the air. But I would encourage everybody, because I'm sure if that is true, every man would like that.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that one. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone wants to comment on that. Mr. Banks?
I think there's a lot of folks out there that just eager to hear what that that comment was. But I like to pick up on what the nurse here said about the after effects of if you have COVID, and I think we all have to really put that realization at a high level, because some of the things that she mentioned, and let's suppose the young folk get it, and going forward, these are some of the after effects that they could be exposed to. And I would say this now, there's probably very few people in Cayman that has had more vaccinations than myself. 65 years ago, when I joined the U.S. Air Force, I was being vaccinated for probably 15 days, 3 or 4 times a day. And, well, I'm still here. And I've had various vaccinations over the years. And I've taken my 2 COVID vax. And first one, I did not have, I would say, any symptoms. And the second one, I had the night I had I would say a little less than comfortable night. But other than that, not really any significant, after effects of taking the vaccination. And I would urge everybody out there, especially the young folks, and I think some of the figures that Dr. Lee quoted, it seems to me that a lot of the folks in the older bracket has taken it a very good percentage. According to
I believe that we have a large number who've taken it, but my concern is that the Caymanians are not proportionately represented in that larger group. The local people are the persons who are hesitant and reluctant to take the vaccine. And I think that was evidenced when anybody who had seen the lines would recognize what we're saying. Now, I haven't been able, because we're still a little bit behind on the data entry, I'm still not able to give that a hard number. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is to compare the list of the persons who have had the vaccine with the list of persons who have received care at the HSA over the last 3 years, to see how are our local people showing up in the vaccine, and it's not looking good. Mm-hmm. So if we look at any day that you go to the that you go out to the airport and look at the vaccination lines. Now, I know that we are a small part of the population. I think, if I remember correctly, some years ago there were only like 11,000 generational Caymanians, multi-generational Caymanians in the population. And so we know that there will be fewer Caymanians in any line, but I don't think it should be this few. And, just walking through and my knowledge of the population, I can say without any fear of contradiction that we are not proportionately represented in the vaccinated population.
Well, following up on that, what she just said, all you turtle meat and cornbread Caymanians out there, go and get that vaccination, because you don't get no Moss and Dennis turtle anymore, so you gotta get that vaccination.
Well, I on Friday, I think it was, I had some comments on it because someone shared with me some anecdotal evidence that caregivers were influencing those persons in their care not to take the vaccine. And what I did was I urged family members to get themselves involved, in this, and they should not allow caregivers, because some may have their own prejudices as far as vaccine is concerned. And that advice as to whether or not an elderly person should take the vaccine should come from a professional, a medically trained professional, rather than from a caregiver.
I think, O.C., I think you make a good point there, because I have heard some of the caregivers sort of that same narrative, and though I think some of them have some medical background, but yeah, I think we all need to get the vaccination and take our protection. There was a time when you couldn't come into Cayman without having a smallpox vaccination, or even go to the U.S. So, and going back, there was one time a quarantine station right down there where the I guess Pageant Beach was at, the yellow building where you came in here, you went to that building, and and I think over the years, if you look back, Cayman has had a very good approach to all of these things, because our sailors went all around the world exposed to all of these various variants that happen overseas, and they had a vaccination card, and if you looked at some of them, you could really tell, they got a lot of jugs or probes, whatever they call it.
We call them jugs.
Jukes. we do have another caller. Let's see what that caller has to say. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Osim. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Morning.
One question. Once you had your 2 jabs and you traveled, do you have to quarantine when you get back? Or?
Okay, good question. Dr. Lee?
Yes, currently you have to quarantine when you get back. Once we get 90% of the over 60s vaccinated, then Cabinet is likely to reduce that quarantine period for those who are vaccinated down to 10 days. Our big worry remains with the variants, the mutations that are around the world, and the fact that you could still bring them back even though you're vaccinated. And that is the current worry, and why countries around the world, the US, the UK, has still got their barriers up, metaphorically speaking, in order to protect from these variants that they're very worried will multiply in their own communities.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is number 1 from the block.
Good morning, number 1.
Morning.
Good morning. That was a very nice laugh.
Are you still laughing? Okay, that's me.
Okay, I hear you. I just want to say this to every Caymanian. I am a sick person. I take sometimes 16, 20 tablets per day. Many other things. And I went and I got mine, and it did not do me one thing. So I'm encouraging every Caymanian, go out there, get the vaccine and get out too. And that way, the doctor can say, look, get up in the room.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We need those stories.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, number 1.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Thank you. Comments?
Well, I at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I want to say we vaccinated. We've given 23,000. I think the total completed vaccination is about 13,000, close to there, between 13 and 15,000. But we still only have 8 ventilated beds at the Health Services Authority, and a few more than that at Health City. Our resources on the ground have not changed significantly, other than the addition of the vaccine to our arsenal to fight. When our borders open and we start, there is no question that COVID is going to enter. I don't think any of us questions that. We're going to do everything we can to control it and to manage it and all that. But it will enter. We still have limited resources to manage severe COVID illness. And I believe that we need to be cognizant of that when we're making our decisions. When I made the decision to get vaccinated, I'm not only thinking about myself. I have to think about my family. I have to think about my elderly mother. I have to think of my grandkids who cannot be vaccinated yet. I have to think about my broader community, those people that I meet every day At the airport, for instance, we can have 800, we can have 1,000 people passing through the airport on any given day through the vaccination program. I have to consider each and every one of those persons as needing my protection, my assistance, my support. And for that reason, we take the vaccine. It's not only about us. And people are complaining about the side effects, but I can put money on it that the side effects are one thing. But if you have COVID, the illness is much, much worse than the side effects.
Okay. One of our listeners wanted to know about those persons who are in quarantine or in isolation, either at a government facility or at home, and the numbers seem to fluctuate. So sometimes you will see it down, and then you will see an increase by 100 or a couple of 100. Can someone speak to that? What is the level of traffic that we have in terms of traveling to the Cayman Islands?
That all depends on how many airplanes have landed. I mean, it's as simple as that.
And we also remember that BA, which is a large plane, a large flight coming in, it only comes twice a week. I mean, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you would get that. It would drop probably like before the next flight comes in, because they may be released from quarantine before the next one. So that would be a significant increase just between the release of one flight and the quarantine of another.
So based on that, could we just repeat what the criteria is in terms of a person's ability to enter the Cayman Islands at this point in time?
That's not in any of our portfolios, I don't think, OC. So we just set the health requirements. But
well, that's what I mean in terms of the health requirements, whether or not they're required to have a test before.
So you have to have a negative PCR test taken from an upper airway within 72 hours of landing in Cayman.
Right.
You'll then get tested on arrival at the airport before you go to whether it's government managed quarantine facility or whether it's home. And there you'll remain for 14 days, and on the 15th day you'll be tested with a further PCR test, and you won't be released until that test has gone negative if you become COVID positive at any point.
Okay. Yesterday we happened to be around by Ivory Key. That's where our cycling group will normally stop for a break. And several of our riders were pretty observant, and they saw this couple running around their house, just in the yard around their house. And we were perplexed at first, and then one person said, "Oh, they're in quarantine. See the bracelet, on their arm." And of course, the conversation, took place then in relation to what it was all about. So it was interesting to see that happening there as well. Another caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C., and good morning to your distinguished guests.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Especially you've got there the medical professionals there. Yes, I try to encourage everyone to take it. I have, and my first one I've got to get back because for the second one on Friday, God's willing. And I have two sisters, 189, 186, who have both had their 2 shots. And that didn't have them anything significant. And they're both more or less housebound for the last 5 years or so, 6 years. We're, of course, generational Caymanians. Hurlston and Eden go back a long, long way. And I'm glad that you said that, Nurse Hazel, about your disappointed in the ratio of how many generational Caymanians, I think you said, as we are. And as a thing that I've stated often, and I will stand by what I say, all our personal IDs should have on it. It just needs to say GC, which means generational Caymanian, that we know who they are and what has happened. And you're not discriminating against anyone, but these are the points I try to make where it becomes important and essential. You talk about so many Caymanians in prison. Are they generational Caymanians? etc., other things, so forth. And it's simple. When a country this small, or 3 islands this small, GC on your, and that's what it means. And we know who are generational Caymanians. Most of it, just like you said, Nurse Hazel, you know immediately, almost. But that's getting kind of hazy now. Here, the one thing I'd like to ask, and I'm glad you're both there as professionals. I'm glad you're here too, Mr. Locke, encouraging, because we know what we had to carry around, that vaccination card and so forth. Many years ago, we had that little grey card, I think it was. And what about people with, what do you call it? I hope I'm right, my terminology, anaphylactic reactions, like people who have to carry a EpiPen with them all the while. I understood in the beginning that they said that those people maybe should not have the vaccination, but maybe they've rethought that. Or is it that you could ask your doctor that you see regularly, a person who is like that, do you think it's safe if you get two opinions sort of to have it? Or if you had it at the hospital where there are doctors right by instead of at the airport. I'll hang up and listen to your answer to that.
Thank you.
I hope you understood what I'm trying to get at, because it's very important.
Yes, Colin. They do understand.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lee?
So, I mean, I think you've nearly answered everything there, sir. So thank you very much for your assistance. It's always helpful when the public can recount their experience. It's really valuable. But although there were some people that had a bad reaction initially, anaphylactic reaction, the instructions now say that if you are allergic to an insect or a food or a medication, you can still have the vaccine. You should go ahead and have it. At an individual level, if you're very allergic to multiple different medications, then I would speak to your doctor. And there have been a couple of circumstances where, as you've described, we've given the vaccination in a more secure setting, such as in the hospital. So we've been able to monitor people. We've had extra medical people on site just in case. And we haven't actually had any problems, which is a really great thing. That we've had a couple of people who've had minor allergic reactions. We thought it was something was developing, but nothing actually developed. So that's good news from that point of view. I hope that answers that bit. The others may wish to take up the other points.
Okay, we have about 10 minutes left to go in the show, so I want to give all of you an opportunity to cover the grounds, the areas that you want to cover. One question that I would have in terms of the level that we need to reach in terms of the vaccination over, is it over 60? How much further do we have to go to reach that? And just to say that a lot of the feedback coming from the public is that they really want things to remain as they are now, as far as access to persons coming to the Cayman Islands. They want it to remain this way for quite a while. People feel, very safe, at this point in time. They have taken into consideration the financial and the economic impact, of that, but they're putting their health and their safety above all of those things as well.
I'd say to that, OC, that that's obviously a political decision. So it's the people who've been elected to govern the country that will ultimately need to make that decision based on the advice that they're given by the healthcare providers, such as myself, Chief Medical Officer. But we're very close to reaching that 90% of the over 60s, and at that point we suggested only that we would reduce the quarantine period for those who've had a vaccination to 10 days. So it's not a huge drop down, but it's a useful one for anybody that's been travelling, a drop of 4 days. I'll leave it to others to make any further final comments, but I would encourage people to come forward, because I think it is inevitable that we're going to open the borders, and only when we reach a good vaccination of the whole population, and by that I mean 80% of the entire population, the children included, would I feel much more comfortable about having free travel. But we would have to get that high level. Because of these mutations, the vaccinations are likely to cause prevention of serious illness and death, but there will be a number of people who will still succumb to it when we have free travel.
Okay, and if someone could speak to the schedule vaccination schedule that is in place now as well. I think that would be useful for our audience also. Dr. Brown?
So right now we're doing everyone in stage 1 and stage 2. And I would like to advise everyone, if you have missed your alphabet day, still come. We're not going to turn persons away because they've missed their alphabet day. We want them. I want to immunize everyone that we can. Dr. Lee wants to get everybody, all of us, we want to get our population protected. So we're not going to turn people away for awkward little things like the alphabet. Now, one of the things that I'm finding is that right now I am behind by about 900 persons who they had their first dose, but they haven't had their second dose. That is the count up until Saturday's numbers. So if you've had your first dose, anytime, you don't have to wait for any date or time, just show up and we're given second doses. In fact, second doses are being prioritized every day.
That's after the 21 days?
After the 21 days, yeah. And please do come out. You're still within the window to get the vaccine. We haven't been given it long enough to get outside that window yet. The other thing is that the over 60s are being prioritized. No matter if you see the line being really, really long at the airport, all you do is come to the door and you say, I'm over 60. We're calling out every time we go to bring people inside. We're asking for persons over 60, and they're being prioritized. So please, don't let any of those things stop you. Come out and get your vaccination. We're hoping to open up some more very, very soon, so that we can get everybody immunized. But I really, really want to encourage those persons over the 60 and over. And I think what we have remaining right now are probably more the generational Caymanians than anyone else. I believe that most other persons, having seen the effects of COVID on their homeland, are responding much more effectively. So please come out, and if anybody has any questions, just call the flu hotline. Those, like the last time, most people have my phone number. Just give us a call, reach out to us. Ministry of Health, if you need to reach Dr. Lee, you will have to call the Ministry of Health directly. Or you can reach the hospital 949-8600. They'll always know where to find me if you don't have my number.
Okay, we have a few WhatsApp messages, and I'll read each at a time and give you an opportunity. This one says, opportunity to respond, sorry. This one says that... Please let your medical team know that some of us seniors would like to have a choice of either the AstraZeneca or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. What about those choices? Now, because we see other jurisdictions that are thinking that people will want to choose the one jab as opposed to the two jabs. Will we have that option here in the Cayman Islands, or do we have that option?
The AstraZeneca is a two-jab vaccination
okay.
program, so it's not.
Johnson
Johnson & Johnson is a single vaccination.
And the Moderna?
Moderna is a two-jab as well.
Okay.
So we're progressing with the Pfizer vaccination, which is the one that the UK is supplying us free of charge through their support of the UK overseas territories. It is likely that we may have a handful of the AstraZeneca, but just a handful for people who have certain circumstances where they are exceedingly allergic, as we discussed before, where they may be more appropriate for them. But for the moment, we are proceeding with the Pfizer as the main vaccination that we're working with. It does appear to have very good action against many of the mutations and variants that are out there, which is great news. Mm-hmm. Better than some of the other vaccines that have been mentioned in the last 5 minutes, and that's really reassuring to me.
Okay.
From my perspective, if I could add to that, OC, having looked at the vaccines and looked at all the data around them and all the conversations around them, I personally would have chosen Pfizer over the others, even if it weren't sent to us. I might have been in the reverse position, but for me, I believe in the Pfizer vaccine.
Okay. This one, I'm not sure if I'll voice it on the air, even though this person says, can you ask if there's any other way of testing other than using the wooden materials, because they had that once at a facility, and it was a terrible experience.
It's not wooden. Our swabs are not wooden at all. Our swabs are actually very, very flexible plastic and very, very thin, very fine. I think when we hear the word swab, we think of these old-fashioned wooden swabs, but this is not at all.
I think also, Nurse Brown, it's probably fair to say that we've got better supplies now. We may have been a little bit more constrained at some point, and so we've got much finer ones, and it's much more easy to go through the process now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Loxer, we've locked you out for a little while. I want to give you an opportunity before we close off for final comments.
Well, I'd just like to urge everybody out there to get vaccinated because, like you've heard mentioned around this table here this morning, I think as we open up, we are going to be more exposed, and I think we can counteract that somewhat if we are vaccinated. And we cannot stay closed all the time, but I would hope that the dynamics of what has been transpiring over the last, I guess, year does not significantly change with what might happen after April the 14th.
And that's our aim, isn't it?
Yes.
To keep us safe,
yes.
and to remain as safe and as comfortable as we are.
But I think that the dynamics of the business side against you want to call it scientific side or the governmental side or the Caymanian side, are subject to change because that's the only thing that we can really be sure of. There's going to be change. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. I would hope that I can speak directly to you two, that your resolve to keep the dynamics the way, or pretty close to the way that we have been processing them, would remain the same against all maybe the other pressures that might impinge. Okay. And everybody get out there and get vaccinated.
Okay, Dr. Brown, closing comments from you, and then Dr. Lee.
Let's go with John first.
Just get your jab done, please. Go on,
yes.
Go on. Come out and get it done.
Yeah.
Yes, we as a people tend to be, we complain that we don't get certain benefits and whatnot, but in this particular situation, I'm pretty disappointed. I really would like to see us, instead of sitting at home as Caymanians and complaining about what we can't do and what we can't get and who's not providing for us and who's not supporting us, that we actually come out and take advantage of this. This is one thing that has been provided to the people, there is no question. And persons are taking advantage of it. Persons are coming forward. People do appreciate it. I need my own people to do the same.
And if we are to get back to any semblance of normalcy, you have to be vaccinated.
Absolutely, absolutely. As Mr. Loxer said, we want to keep it. We're committed to keeping Cayman safe, as I believe the politicians are. And I am not a political animal. I don't engage. I'm a good civil servant. But I have to say that our government has done a tremendous job in keeping Cayman safe. And I want us all to be a part of that, so that we can open, but we can maintain the safety and the level of comfort that we have.
Okay,
let's always be aware it's a political world.
Okay. Absolutely.
And speaking of politics, good sources, reliable sources have said, as far as the nomination process is concerned, which is today's nomination day, for East End so far we have Mr. Isaac Rankin. For North Side we have Mr. Justin Ebanks. For West Bay Central, Catherine Ebanks Wilkes. And for Prospect, Michael Miles. And my source said that this came from very good sources as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to thank all of the guests that we had in the studio this morning. We had to do quite a bit of juggling, and we still didn't get the people from the Youth Parliament on, but we gave sincere undertaking that we will have them on during the course of the week as well. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend your a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. And if you have not been vaccinated so far, please get out there and do it. It is the right thing to do. It is the patriotic thing to do. It is the healthy thing to do as well.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have here on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local.